Welcome to today's TLC. Whether you found this podcast on my website, through the emails I send, or simply from a friend, I'm glad that you've decided to add some TLC today. Hey friends, how are you today? I hope there's been something in your day that's brought wonder to you. Something that just clicked and you felt like, oh, thank you. That is so good. I live for those moments where my brain shifts and I just feel so much freedom. One of those moments that has been a huge shift for me is around simply getting out of bed. And I know that I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but I want to dive in a little bit today about why our brain makes things so hard sometimes and how to make hard things easy. Because guess what? It's not hard for me to get out of bed anymore. My body naturally got me up this morning at 5:23 a.m. And my brain did not even fight me. I felt excited and ready to go. And I want you to be able to feel that with whatever it is that you might be feeling frustrated about or that feels hard or overwhelming to you right now. So I'm going to share some coach tools that helped me get to that aha moment. And I know you can do it too. First, a little bit of background about why mornings were hard for me. When I was young, we used to joke that my mom turned into a pumpkin at 9 p.m. And this was true. If you tried to have an intelligent conversation with my mother after 9 o'clock at night, it just wouldn't happen. The reason why is because she would wake up at like 4 in the morning, 4 or 5, because she wanted time before the kids were awake. I remember sneaking into her little office that she had created under the stairs in our storage room. And she'd have her little lamp on and her scriptures out, and I'd see her studying early in the morning. And I just remember thinking that my mother was amazing, and I wanted to be just like my mom. And so I tried. I tried to be an early morning person and wake up and seize the day and connect with God. And honestly, it just was too hard. I felt drained by it. I felt like I never was going to be like my mom. And that's where I picked up the belief that I'm just not a morning person. Then a few years later, when I was a teenager, my stepdad died. And my mom didn't wake up anymore. She stayed in her bed for months. And I remember sitting on the other side of her door with tears silently falling down my face because I was so worried about my mom. Because she wasn't getting out of bed. When that happened, I picked up the belief that when you feel sad, it's hard to get out of bed. Well, years passed, and I forgot about most of the energy that I had felt about mornings. And then I went to college. And the energy and excitement of college when I first got there helped me get up in the mornings and go to class and study. And I felt on fire. Like, maybe I am a morning person. This is going to be awesome. But then there were a little too many late nights, and I didn't have anyone to force me to get out of bed in the morning. And after a while, I just defaulted back into that pattern of it's hard to get out of bed. Plus, the overwhelm of college added to some of those intense feelings, which made me want to crawl back in bed and hide under my covers. And we're not even going to talk about how my sleep habits when I started having children affected all of this, especially my sick baby that was up 6 to 7 times a night when he was struggling with digestive issues. That made it really hard to get out of bed. But you're getting the point. I had created this belief about getting out of bed. It's never really been easy for me or natural for me. And then I've heard all these conflicting things about you need 6 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours. So I've felt like it's a moving target of not knowing how much sleep I should get, and no matter how much sleep I get, I want more anyway, because I'm just not a morning person. At this point, you're probably like, all right, Stephanie, we get it, move on. But I just want to help you see what was going on in my mind, because I want you to also think about what's going on in your mind that's keeping you stuck in making things hard. Here's what gave me the shift. The very first coach that I ever had taught me that my thoughts are what create my feelings. And I felt so empowered. I'm like, wait a minute. My thoughts about getting up in the morning are what's making me feel stuck. I can change my thoughts. I was so ready to try this out that I set up a goal with my coach to get up with my alarm for 30 days. She told me to pick a thought that I could focus on when that alarm went off So my brain wasn't thinking of all the reasons why it was hard. Instead, it was thinking thoughts that were empowering to me. Now, at the time, I was only meeting with this coach every few weeks. So she gave me this homework, and I found the thought, I am strong. And it worked. My alarm would go off, and I would instantly focus my brain on, I am strong. I can get out of bed. I am strong. Instead of letting my brain think about how soft and comfy the pillows were or how much I didn't get sleep last night, I just focused my brain on, I am strong. And it felt empowering for about 2 weeks. But then I got sick. And guess what wasn't true anymore? I didn't feel strong. My body felt weak, and I just felt like, blah, there's no way I'm getting out of bed. And I spent the next 3 days getting as much sleep as I possibly could. Now, to be fair, when you're sick, rest is best. Daniel Tiger, anyone? But I definitely overslept in that period of time. Shortly after, I had a coach call, and I told my coach what was going on. And she said something that blew my mind and gave me that moment of wonder and just freedom. She said, oh, well, of course you didn't get out of bed. You picked the thought, I am strong. But if you think you have to be strong to get out of bed, what are you believing about getting out of bed? That it's hard. It's only hard because you're still believing that it's hard. You think you have to be strong because your mother was strong, because feelings are intense and hard to get over, because you didn't have enough hours of sleep. But hard is just a thought. You don't have to fight getting out of bed. Drop the battle. And my friends, my world shifted. I saw this truth in so many of the everyday things that I was experiencing. My relationship with my children, projects that I felt overwhelmed by, the times where I don't exercise. I was making all of them hard. Knowing this is so freeing, and you deserve to be free of the things that you think are hard. Here's the trick. You have to find a good why. You want to know why I was getting out of bed in the morning? Because I thought that I was irresponsible if I didn't. That was it. My coach helped me find that the reason why I thought I had to get out of bed in the morning at that phase of my life was because I believed that if I didn't get out of bed, I was irresponsible. So my why was, I want to be responsible. Does that feel motivating to you? Because it totally didn't feel motivating to me. And once I realized that was my why, I'm like, well, of course it's been hard. So we took a deep breath and found a new why that actually felt naturally exciting and motivating for me to get out of bed. Like today. You want to know why I wanted to be up at 5:23 this morning? Because I was excited to do podcasts today. I wanted to record and share my thoughts with you. And that excitement literally pulled me out of bed way before my alarm was going to go off. When you find a good why and embrace the truth that it's only hard because you believe it's hard, magic happens. Now, I do want to give you 2 cautions. 1, don't waste your time and energy on trying to convince your brain that it's not hard. That is a losing battle. It's like a toddler that keeps trying to tell you that it needs the cookie, and you're like, you don't need the cookie. And you're like, I need the cookie. You don't need to have that battle. Instead, focus on something else. Redirect your brain to thoughts that will be more helpful to you, like your new why. Because you might be going through something that you deeply believe is very hard. And I honor whatever that is and know that that can be an overwhelming place. But believing it's hard is not going to make it be any less overwhelming, right? So find a why that will fuel you and help you move forward. Thing number 2, we are not robots. We are humans. So don't expect yourself to never think it's hard. The goal is not to delete that from your brain, but to catch it when you are thinking that so that you can shift it to something more useful. For example, about a month ago, I was in a session with my coach and we were reviewing my morning routine, something I'm constantly exploring and trying to find ways that really support me because mornings have become such a cherished joy for me now. And so I revisit it often to figure out what rhythm works best. And that morning I had struggled to get up for the first time in a while. And instead of shaming myself or being frustrated that I made it hard, I got curious and explored a little with my coach. And guess what we found? The night before, I had stayed up a little bit late, and as I was getting in my bed, I thought I better change my alarm to go off a little later in the morning because it's going to be hard for me to get out of bed with that little asleep. Do you see it? Did you catch it? I believed as I went to bed that it would be hard. So even though I changed my alarm and got the amount of sleep that I've learned is helpful for my body, the alarm went off and I didn't want to get up and I felt super groggy and had a struggle all morning long. I believed it would be hard, and it was. When we found this thought, both my coach and I just started laughing. And I can laugh at myself when I get stuck in old patterns because I believe in the trial and error of human life. We're all just learning and figuring out what works and what doesn't, and that's a beautiful process. What's hard for you right now that you don't want to have be hard anymore? You simply have to find why you think it's hard and find a new why to help your brain move forward. I believe in you. It's not about all the things that happened in my past that made it so I'm not a morning person. My belief was now, and I changed that belief and created something new. You can too. And if you want some help with that, hop on a discovery call and I'll help you explore some of the things that you feel are hard. I have helped lots of women that are making things harder than they have to be find those beliefs, free themselves from the hard, and capture a why that energizes them and moves them forward. You can do it too. And honestly, it's so fun to have those moments of wonder where you feel free to be you. Go explore, my friends. You've got this. Life after therapy can be simple. Come learn how to think light, feel light, and live light at thelightcoach.com. I offer 5 free discovery sessions each week, and one of them is for you. Together, let's discover the joy that's possible in life after therapy.